Manjaro, one of the distros that I looked forward to, and oh boy, it didn't disappoint. Anywho, I finally built a PC by myself, and I'm proud to say that. Daily driving Linux is not as complex as many people thought. I used to have this thought when I was second driving Ubuntu for years, and the fear of things breaking always hooked me back to Windows as it became the default go-to OS. But it all changed when I built my first ever PC and refused to buy Windows. Back again with me, Daddy, and today I want to share with you my journey and experience of using Manjaro Linux for almost a year. A year, guys. Yes, almost a year, and spoiler alert, I will continue using it. Well, even if I want to change my OS, I would probably just change to another distro, but I probably would not, because I'm still liking my Manjaro KDE now, pretty much. Fun fact, I started using this before PewDiePie first released its video of building a PC and subsequently installing Linux on it, which blew up among the techies, and now I have a friend who recently told me how he hates Windows, always has been, and decided to switch to Linux because he watched PewDiePie did so. I just want to say, no, I'm not switching because of PewDiePie, as I've used Linux for years now. You can go watch all my shorts on Linux distros. I've shared bits and pieces about it there, and I think for such a big influencer to do so is actually a good thing. Here's why. Linux has been used by companies for a long time now, but the take-up rate has been pretty stagnant in a sense because there's just so many companies, right? So the only way to increase this rate is to have such influencer to influence the normies to use and show them that Linux is not scary. And this awareness is very effective in growing, or at least planting, this curiosity seed that will make them think, maybe I'll try using it, right? So this is all we need to start. And with all the available funny, proper, or cool distros out there, they can pick whatever they want. So back to my friend, so I asked him what makes him finally took the step to change other than PewDiePie, and it was the fact that Windows is bloated. Yes, that's what he said. He hates how slow sometimes it can get, so he dumped it, pretty much. So naturally, I had to ask, right, what distro? Is it gonna be Ubuntu? The reason why I asked why Ubuntu and not Mint was because he is not a total noob in tech stuff. So I thought he would at least heard of more than just Mint or Pop OS, but he went for Mint anyway. Now, for me personally, I think that in order to choose which distro to use, it goes beyond just the mainstream, considering that there are a lot of options for distros, right? And in fact, those distros that I've tried, they were just a few selections. It's not all, okay? And each has its own purpose. So that's the beauty of each distro. And other than you having to like it, you should be able to perform your routine as fine as when you're using Windows. And this routine is really important to me. And in fact, it's the one criteria that I cannot just, compromise, right? Because it's my routine, it's my habit of using the OS, right? So hence, I tried different distros for certain durations before that, and with the intention to replace my laptop OS with the Linux distro first, because before that, I was still daily driving my laptops. I haven't built my PC yet, but I completed my PC build. So I ended up installing and using Linux OS directly on my main PC instead, which is this one. Now, if you have followed my short clips about distro hopping, you should have known that Manjaro was my top pick at that point, and I settled with Manjaro KDE specifically simply because I've seen GNOME for years now that it just doesn't excite me anymore. Without me knowing, it's almost a year now and I'm still liking it. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to use Manjaro. Partially it is also because I eventually want to try to go back to Arch. I had always found Arch to be cool before my time of using Ubuntu, which is a decade ago. But if I want to go Arch today, it is because I want to deep dive. But this makes me think twice because another old school distro of similar caliber, Debian, yes, Debian, caught my eyes for the same reason. Like, it really gave me the same feeling when I was trying Debian on the other day. And I also did mention how I really want to go back to Debian and, like, you know, play around with it again. So especially after my experience with Manjaro thus far, in which Manjaro is like, you know, derivative of Arch, it kind of make me feel like this 50-50 between Debian and Arch now. Just like any other Linux distros, I spent my first weeks tweaking settings, installing apps that I need. A lot of the apps now are supported by main repo now, which is to my surprise. This wasn't the case as far as I remember back then, right? So it's really good to see that now you can just pacman install everything, right? Which is, you know, installing from the main Manjaro's repositories, which is good because it's an official Manjaro repositories. But some apps I do have to install from AUR, which stands for Arch User Repository, which is basically just a community-driven repo. This means if you want to install apps and use terminal, just go through pacman first instead of yay, because yay should be your secondary method. All is good, all is fine, because when errors happen during the installation, almost always the fix is ought to go through yay installation, because community-driven repo is actually not bad. It's just that, you know, it's not the official ones in a sense. So, you know, that's why I suggested going through pacman first rather than yay. But yay is good as well, as long as you continue to update it accordingly, because this AUR is actually pretty active, right? So it's not bad. What I do typically for my routine is just browsing. I watch a lot of videos, I do coding as well, so I have to really browse a lot. And other than that, I also do video editing, thumbnail editing, coding, in which a lot of typical stuff coming with building software. I also supported this, actually the beauty of Linux, by the way. It really supports programmers really well. And playing Steam games, I mean, come on man, games was one of the reasons why I didn't really daily drive my Ubuntu back then. But in these days I age, with SteamOS and stuff, come on, you just have no reason why you're not switching to Linux, right? So other than content creating on YouTube, I stream too, on both Twitch and YouTube. So these are my main routine that I have to make sure won't be disrupted as I switch to Linux. Unfortunately, one thing that really cost me my time, and to be more specific, a month of fixing, was DaVinci Resolve. I literally had to solve this issue every day after I returned from work. I noticed those tech YouTubers that use DaVinci Resolve to edit their videos, they use it on Windows, but still they driving Linux. So meaning they probably have like a second dual booting Linux or something with Windows as their secondary OS, but they only mainly use it for editing videos. That was my assumption by, you know, watching their videos and stuff. And for me personally, I refuse to do this, because my main goal for switching to Linux as my daily driver is that I really wanna remove my dependency from Windows completely. Plus, in order to use Windows, you gotta purchase it, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, hence it took me so long to fix it, to ensure it works, and I did. Fortunately, I have to say, even though like it really cost me just a little bit of stress and time, you know what I mean? Hence, you are able to watch this video now and all my other videos as well. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I use terminal a lot. By a lot, I mean a lot. And I'm liking the way updates are done in Manjaro simply because it doesn't use apt-get. Come on, if you are using Ubuntu for years now, I don't know, are you going to get fed up by that? I'm not sure, but for now, I'm liking Manjaro simply because it's new, alright? Like a shiny new toy, if you get what I mean. And other than that, I watch YouTube a lot, like Linus Tech Tips, The WAN Show, and do my stuff through browser and doing my other routine as well. And not surprisingly, these are the activities that I have been doing for almost a year now. So it really goes on to explain, to show you that Linux OS is actually no difference from Mac OS or Windows. It's just how you actually do your routine for each OS and how smooth it can get. Now, personally, for programming wise, for coding, I feel that both Mac OS and Linux do it the best. and not Windows. But if you're using other applications, Windows could be the winner here, simply because a lot of the apps are being supported by Windows. So I really want to see more apps work well with Linux one day, seriously, because with how Linux have progressed up to this point, it really goes to show that Linux has the potential as the daily driver for normies, people like you and me, and not just for servers, if you get what I mean, right? So yeah, that said, you don't have to be scared of Linux. You don't have to be scared by terminal now. I understand that there are people out there who completely don't even use command prompt from Windows, and the same thing should happen for Linux as well. And don't worry, Linux has App Store now, which works pretty well as well. So you can go on and watch my short videos on this channel. I actually covered briefly on each distro's App Store, and trust me, they actually work pretty well. And personally, I'm just so used to terminal now, as I created my own bash script as well to install on the distro that I use, so I don't need to manually find them anymore. Yeah, but it's just a main thing. For you, you can still go to those more mainstream beginner-friendly distros like Mint, Pop! OS, or Ubuntu. Yeah, it's pretty good. But Mint though, I can see why a lot of people go to Mint. Seriously, you can probably try that one at first. But again, if you know what you do, what your routine is, switching to Linux will not be scary. It is working very smoothly now that all the issues were solved in the beginning. But if there is one thing that I feel that can be better, is that if you are building your own PC, use AMD CPU with AMD GPU would be the best. I'm using AMD CPU with NVIDIA GPU, and somehow this still cause minor issues with my DaVinci Resolve mainly. Other than that, it was great for now. And I've also heard that AMD is better supported for open source stuff and also Linux as well. So yeah, you can always try AMD first. So, will I continue using Manjaro in the foreseeable future then? Answer is yes. Easy yes. I'm pretty happy with the performance so far. Shutting down, rebooting on the system are all fast. This is noticeable, no delay kind of effect as compared to Windows, in which, you know, when you tell Linux to shut down, it just shuts down. There's no thinking like Windows always does. Yeah, seriously, sometimes I feel like Windows will play this game like, really? You're going to shut down? Really? Am I going to shut down for you? Then, you know, without you knowing, a minute has passed. I just don't like that. And when you tell Linux to reboot, it just reboots as well. But will I use Arch on my main PC? Probably not for now. But Debian? Perhaps. Perhaps on another PC, another project. What about my laptop's distro then? I'm still considering between Arch, Mint, or Pop! OS. Perhaps it's gonna be Arch or Mint, because for Pop! OS, for some reason, I think that Pop! OS is well suited for PC usage. Mint is an all-rounder kind of OS. It works alright for both laptop and PC. Arch though is just for productivity for my case, from my point of view as well, hence laptop is enough. Debian though is the only wild card that I actually may consider in any cases when I feel I'm ready to deep dive. For now though, I'm just enjoying my Manjaro. Now, speaking of distro and another PC, I do have another project lined up. I'm planning to build my own NAS. Yes, you heard that right, my own NAS. But I'm not sure whether I should go with TrueNAS or Ubuntu. Now, why Ubuntu is because some of the people that I've talked to, they mainly use Ubuntu for their server, with one reason being it's stable. And I've done a little bit of research as well. People generally suggested Ubuntu. I know I can always build both, like with, you know, all the projects that I may have with two different OS, right? But my money is coming out from my own pocket currently, and this is for my daily driver, so I need to consider it more carefully, and this is where I need your help with. Which one should I go for? Leave your comments down below. I'm really excited to see your suggestions, guys. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. With that, I just want to wrap it up by saying thank you so much for watching this video up to this point. And if you're new to Linux or considering switching to Linux, just try it. Just try it. It is free, unlike Windows where you have to pay. And Linux now can do what Windows can as well. There's no limitation to it. There's a lot of Linux distros doing it. There's a reason why companies and government are both using Linux. It's time for normies like us to use Linux now and just give it a try. You don't have to be a true techie. A lot of people who are not techie are switching to it now. There's no harm trying it. So yeah, don't be afraid. If PewDiePie can do it, why can't you? Oh, and if you have any project idea that I can do, feel free to suggest them as well. Stay happy, stay curious. I'll see you on the next one.